I was just asked 2 questions today, and I think they are very common questions, so I wanted to answer them here. The first one is, will I bruise after my injections appointment? And the second one is, has anyone passed out during one of these sessions? So the answer to the first one is, it is possible to bruise. Whenever we're causing trauma to the skin, it's almost inevitable that you're going to experience some kind of irritation or bruising. And typically what I see is these are the most common areas where bruising will occur. Sometimes in the forehead, depending on how you bruise and how your body reacts. But this is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to avoid. I do use a vitamin K cream with arnica in it just to keep any bruising from coming to the surface, but if it does happen, you can use a cold compress. Honestly, it's not a big deal, and it will go away within like a week. And I say not a big deal because usually the bruises are really, really tiny. Now, filler's another story. You do tend to bruise around the lips. I would just highly recommend planning your schedule accordingly. So having this done at least 2 to 3 weeks before any big event, meeting, anything like that, just to prepare for the bruising and to ensure that it's not distracting or you're not self-conscious about it. The second one is something that I do, and it's called Vasovagal. I sound really excited about it. I'm not. It's the worst thing ever. But it's out of your control, and I know exactly what to look for when it's about to happen. So it's an emotional response. It is not a response to the discomfort. I want to be very clear with that, because anytime I get a flu shot, I know I'm going to pass out. And I'm probably an extreme case. I don't remember. So I typically just pass out, wake up, and everyone around me is shocked. Now, this doesn't happen. I've had one client come in and I saw the symptoms. It's typically like almost like they're daydreaming, and they're kind of looking through you, and their lips get a little pale. And so as soon as I see that, I stop and I put cold compresses, one on the chest and the other one on the back of the neck, and they're kind of just dazed and confused. So it's not this big panic attack where you pass out. Again, I've been doing this for a few years now, and it's only happened once, and I don't really think she knew what was going on. She's a very young client. We were doing her lip flip, and I think it was the anxiety around it. And so I talked her through, hey, this is something that you should be aware of, that your body does, because next time you get any kind of injection or get your blood drawn, it's likely going to happen. So again, it's not very common. I have seen it before. I know what to do. It was fine. She didn't even realize what was going on, but I know what was happening because it happens to me every single time, and it is so embarrassing. And one of my nurses that has worked on me, and I passed out on her, is following me, so I'm sorry. You know what I'm talking about. But I hope that answers your questions. Let me know if you have any others. Thanks. So I was asked 2 questions in my messages, and thank you for those. The first one was, what does Botox feel like? And then the second one was, what is aftercare? And then I also got a message that my hair is sticking up, and I know that, but I don't have gel, so I don't know. We're going to live like this today. I grew up with acne, a lot of acne, so I always popped zits all over my face. It was atrocious. But if you've ever popped a pimple on your face, like a deep one, that's kind of how I would describe it. It's like a really quick pinch, and it's a very quick appointment. So I think it's all, for the first timers, it's always the anxiety leading up to it, but it's very fast. So I worked on a whole forehead 11s and crow's feet, and it took me maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and the whole time we're chatting, you have a little vibrator under your chin that distracts you. So, I mean, it's not the most comfortable thing. It's definitely not a facial, but it's not super uncomfortable. And it's the tiniest needle ever. So it's an insulin needle. I can show you one of those if you guys are interested. Send me a message. The most sensitive areas to work on are the lips and the nose. So for nose flaring and bunny lines, but I numb for the lips and the nose. I do numb, but honestly, it makes no difference. But it's done really quickly, and it's just a little more uncomfortable than the other areas that are typically treated. This is aftercare. This is what I send you home with. So first off, you don't want to lay down for 3 to 4 hours following your appointment. No excessive working out for 12 hours following your appointment. You don't want to do any saunas, hot tubs, or anything like that. I thought I could talk through that, but this is part 2, aftercare after Botox. So again, I'll go over it. You don't want to lay down for the next 3 to 4 hours following your appointment. You don't want to do any excessive working out where you're going to be sweating a ton for the next 12 hours following your appointment, as well as hot tubs and saunas, same time frame. And then you don't want to massage the area. So sometimes, depending on how your muscles absorb the toxin, there can be little nodules where the toxin is sitting. That goes away within like 15 to 30 minutes following your appointment, the last thing you want to do is get in your car and massage that, because we're exactly where we injected is where we want it to be absorbed. So if you massage that, it can lead to migration, and then you start freezing other muscles, and it could lead to some wonky brows, or just not the results that we're hoping for. And then what you don't want to do, and I see this all the time on social media, is they go get their Botox and then they start filming videos the same day flexing those muscles. You're not going to see results depending on what toxin you're using, but for Botox you're not going to see results until like 2 weeks. And then if you're using Xeomin and Jeuveau, it would likely be around 7 days. So you would, if you're going to film those videos, you'd want to do it before, and then at that mark, either depending on the toxin again, 7 to 2 weeks after your appointment, and then maybe like a month out to see the difference in the change in the movement in your muscles. Let me know if you have any other questions.